What's up, everyone, and welcome to Tayo Screencast Weekly, where we talk about all the latest news on movies, TV shows, and video games from the previous week. So today I'm joined by my brother, Miko Tong, as we go over 5 headlines for this week. But before we get to that, if you haven't already, we'd appreciate it if you could follow us here on YouTube at Tayo Pop, that's TayoPop, and over on Instagram and TikTok at studio.tayo for all the latest updates and shows that we're working up here in Tayo. As you guys know by now, or if you're new here, we're new here on YouTube. We're new to podcasting, so we'd appreciate all the support we can get in all those social media platforms. And also, if you guys are not aware, this podcast is shot in our studio, Tayo Studio. So this is a content. It's a content studio, photography studio, located in Katipunan Avenue. So to the ones in Manila, Katipunan Avenue. To the ones in the States, if ever you have viewers in the States, I don't know if you can shoot here or not, but yes, if anyone's interested in having a shoot here, your own content, your own vlogs, your own podcasts, or you need to have like some photo shoot, you could have it here in Studio Tayo. So yeah, some sneak peeks for what we have in store for this week. Tomorrow I'll be actually uploading my own review of the Marvels in my own YouTube channel. That's at Maki Tung. You could also watch my snippet review in my TikTok, which is also at Maki Tung. But on this coming Wednesday, hopefully this coming Wednesday, me and my brother will be able to have an open spoiler discussion on the Marvels because he has not seen it yet. He doesn't seem too excited about it. I was kind of excited, so I watched it right away in opening day.
He just spoiled like a huge spoiler for me, so I don't know how I can possibly get excited now. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
I apologize for that one. I was really excited to talk about it. I thought he was aware. Apparently, sadly, he was not aware with that leak. So, yeah, stay tuned for Wednesday on our open spoiler discussion on the Marvels. So, getting right to it with our 5 topics. All right. So, topic number 1, we have Blade. So, with Blade over here, it has been officially confirmed that Blade is in fact going to be rated R. So this would make it the second R-rated MCU after Deadpool 3, when Deadpool 3 comes out. So yeah, talking to Deadline, the Blade director Jan Demange, I hope I'm saying his name right. They gave me the R. They gave me the R, which is so important. I come out of Dami, which is his new short film, wanting to be more open, more vulnerable, and bring a more personal aspect to my work. But for Blade, we're going to have fun because Mahershala Ali is such a deep actor. I'm excited to show a kind of ruthlessness or roughness he has that allows him to walk the earth in a particular way. I love him for that. He's got a dignity and integrity, but there's a ferocity there that he usually keeps under the surface. I want to unleash that and put it on screen. So, working off of that, yeah, it's great that it's finally been confirmed. I think a lot of fans have been worried if Blade would be PG because I think we were talking about it briefly that Deadpool would be the only R-rated, so like people were worried that Blade would be PG, which wouldn't be a fit, right? So my take on this is that very nice. It's very exciting to know that this is confirmed to be R-rated. It definitely suits the character. So my hope here, my wants for this movie is I would really love this to be like, yeah, like kind of like how John Wick 1 was, where like it was the budget was just right and they really made it work. We're I don't want to say cheap,
Yeah.
but like it just not CGI galore.
Yeah.
There, that's how I could describe it. Not CGI galore, and it's just like such a self-contained story. So if they can do that while mixing in some gore, count me all in.
Yeah.
How about you, Miko? What are your thoughts with the
I
R-rating?
agree that, the R was definitely the way to go. I think had they relegated it down to PG-13, it would have been a big disservice to the character. Me, being a fan of the original Blade back in the 90s with Wesley Snipes, I was always going to compare it, right? And for me, had they done a watered down version of the character, I think I would have hated it right out the gates.
Yeah.
Um, with regards to, what you were saying with where they could go and where the budget should be, I think that with especially with the first movie, I think they should really keep Blade as like a street level hero. Nothing like apocalyptic,
World
nothing like
ending.
that,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that if they keep it that way, they can definitely control the budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. So when you Meeks, like, so now this is gonna be the second R-rated movie for the MCU. Do you see this as the next wave or the next chapter of MCU? Is this something you would want MCU to keep exploring, or would you still want them to stay on the path that they're in mainly, which is that family-friendly
I mean,
approach?
after more than a decade of the MCU, I think that they really they really needed to sort of evolve,
Yeah.
right? If we're just going to get another 10 years of the same kind of movies, then I think they're just going to continue to lose audience.
Yeah.
So for me, opening the doors to the R rating, because me specifically, I've always liked the darker, more
Same.
gritty storylines, characters. I mean, which is weird because Superman's my favorite character, but other than that, I really do like the dark and gritty characters and plot lines. So this is very promising, and with Echo becoming TV mature now, I
Yeah.
think that it's definitely a good thing that Marvel is sort of like allowing these kinds of stories and characters into the MCU.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I really think this is like a good direction because, so I've been watching, Loki. The best example I could give here is that I've been watching Loki and Gen V back to back. I think
Yeah.
they're both on Fridays, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I would
Thursdays in the States, right?
yeah, Thursdays in the States.
Yeah.
So I would watch Loki and then I would end it with Gen V and I would always enjoy
Gen
have a
V
fun
more.
time watching Gen V
Yeah.
more. Just the tone of it
Yeah.
is so fresh.
Definitely.
Like this with the comic book world, there are really two comic book worlds we're dealing with, right? MCU and the DCEU, right? And they still share that tone of like very family friendly, very fun, very comedy. And here comes Gen V that really just does a tonal shift on everything,
Yeah.
right? With how they present their world and the gore around it. And I find myself really enjoying it so much more. And I think that just really adds to your point of like, after being 10 years plus in the
Yeah.
MCU, you really need to start shaking things up.
Yeah.
And I really hope Marvel continues. I mean, still wait and see. We don't know how Disney's gonna handle their R rating with Deadpool and Blade, but should it do well, which I'm very hopeful for, I would love to see them tell more stories.
I mean,
more
I wouldn't
R-rated.
be surprised if, Marvel opening up the doors to the R rating is sort of like a reaction to Gen V.
Oh, yeah.
I would argue that Gen V is probably the best content out there in terms of comic book
Easily.
shows.
Easily.
So, I mean, I don't think they have to push it as far
Oh, no,
as
no, no,
Gen
no, no,
V
no,
or
yeah.
The Boys, but I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I watch those two shows, it's definitely a fresh take. It's very refreshing for
Yep.
me.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. So, yep, that's our news on the Blade R rating confirmation. So, moving on to our second topic, we have a little interview excerpt with the director of the Marvels, Nia DaCosta. DaCosta. So she was in the interview saying, I really like Scott Summers and Storm together and their dynamic fighting over who should lead the X-Men, like in the Chris Claremont run. I think some Cyclops and Storm team-up movie would be fun. She goes on to say, yada, yada, yada. I was like, here are the movies I think you should do. Galactus, Storm, and Scott Summers team-up movie, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, where I wanted to jump from here is, you know, how should the X-Men be introduced in the MCU? Like, do you want would you want them? I guess the question I'm asking both of us is like, would you want to see individual movies of these mutants, a Cyclops individual movie, a Storm individual movie, or maybe integrate Cyclops, a team up movie with Cyclops in some other character, like with Spider-Man, for example, or maybe an X-Men show or an X-Men movie. Where's your head around this? Like, what would your ideal scenario be?
I mean, for me, I don't think that they should come out with their own movies first, because I feel like none of the characters are really like that popular individually. I mean, you could probably have them cameo in certain projects to sort of introduce the audience to them, but the X-Men has always been told as a group, and
Except
they're
Logan.
more popular that way. I think that separating them would just not be the right move.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I think the best approach really would be to do it as a show.
Yeah.
Because X-Men is like a huge cast,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
I only know like just the bare minimum of
Yeah,
X-Men
yeah.
characters, you know. So I think it's very fit for a show. However, we are living in a world where Gen V exists, and they are doing the X-Men. They're basically doing an X-Men story,
Yeah.
and they're doing it again, as we just said. They're doing it perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know how Marvel can navigate making a show about mutants in school, and you're gonna be competing against Gen V. It's gonna be so tricky, man.
I wonder, because
So
you know how
tricky.
they're doing X-Men 97?
The
right?
animated show, yes.
Which is, but they confirmed that it would be a direct sequel to the original
The cartoon,
cartoons.
yeah.
So I wonder if they're going to tell it in a way where it sort of will also act as a way to introduce these characters to maybe the people who don't know the X-Men so much, or, it's just something to sort of refresh everyone's memories.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the animated series, like, where's your head on that? Because like you were,
Dude, I'm doing
you were on the,
I'm doing a rewatch of
really?
the cartoon
How
now.
is it? Does it like hold up?
Yeah, when I watch it now as an adult, I couldn't see then that they were actually telling a very like adult story. And
Really interesting.
unlike other cartoons, right? In the previous cartoon and the cartoons back in my day, each episode would sort of stand on its own.
Mm-hmm.
But the X-Men cartoon actually goes, from one episode to another, telling one
okay. That's
singular
cool.
story.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fun to watch.
Wow.
Yeah, so I look forward to this new cartoon.
Maybe I'll give it a rewatch.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember
It's
I would
good.
see it when you would watch it
It's
way
good.
back then, but those were just like reruns and like. Only thing I can remember is just the epic theme song. So there's
Dude,
that.
it's funny because I've been
Yeah.
seeing posts on social media where they talk about the intro and they go, Marvel had no right to go this hard for an intro.
Yeah, for sure, man. I hope they keep that theme song, man.
Yeah.
Super iconic, you know. So yeah, moving on to our next topic. Topic number 3, something you might have some words to say about, some comments. It has been confirmed that Superman and Lois will be having its final season. Yep. So over in Hollywood Reporter, they say that the Next Star backed broadcast network on Thursday announced that the upcoming 4th season of the DC Comics drama from executive producer Greg Berlanti will be its final run. The 10-episode final season starring Taylor, I'm going to say his name wrong, Hoechlin, and Elizabeth, I'm also going to say her last name wrong, Tulloch, will air sometime in 2024. Over the last 3 seasons, Superman and Lois redefined both the superhero genre and family drama as Tyler, Elizabeth, and the entire cast effortlessly portrayed these classic characters with new layers of depth and complexity that had never before been explored in the Superman universe, said Brad Schwartz, president of entertainment at the CW. We are grateful for the years of hard work and graceful storytelling from the show's writers, producers, actors, and crew, as well as our terrific partners at Warner Brothers Television and Berlanti Production. As Superman embarks on his final flight, The team is leaving us with an absolutely epic 10-episode must-watch every minute farewell to one of the most legendary CW families ever. Man, when this was announced, we just spoke about it briefly before recording. Very expected, but very sad still.
Yeah.
Because when the first episode came in, had low expectations. It's like, why is Superman in the show? Like, who's this act? I personally was not really sold when he was on The Flash. I really wasn't sold on it. But man, when that first episode came out and just the production of it, the production value of it, and immediately fell in love with this take on Superman where we've never seen it in live action.
No.
Married, having kids, such a fresh take on the character. Fell in love with the performance easily. He found a good balance of Christopher Reeve's bumbliness.
It was like a modern version of Christopher
exactly.
Reeve.
So immediately fell in love with the show, and I started binging it, watching it nonstop. However, I'm not up to date for like maybe a few episodes. I'm missing a few episodes, but overall it's very sad. But if they end, I'm hopeful that they're gonna be ending in such a high note.
Yeah.
You, Mr. Superman, what
I mean,
you have to say?
okay, I have always enjoyed the show, but I guess I'm sort of relieved for them that they're sort of getting canceled or it's their final season, because I've always felt like the CW was sort of holding back the show. I was always holding out hope that maybe Warner Brothers would absorb them into HBO Max and give the show its, proper budget.
Budget it deserves, rather.
The budget that it deserves, and we can get, more eyes on the show, because this show was really good. Like you said, it was very reminiscent of the Chris Reeve Superman, and I got that. It's like when I was watching the show, it felt like it was a Superman that was ripped right from the comics.
Yeah.
And the Lois Lane there, Elizabeth Tulloch or something like that, is arguably my favorite Lois Lane ever. And so, again, going back to their final season, I think it was expected when they cut the budgets. They confirmed that a huge chunk of the cast would not be returning, and all the previous DC shows were canceled. So I was like, okay, there's only one way for this to go.
Yep.
But I'm glad that it was it was on. I'm glad that their stories were told, and hopefully, one day I'll revisit them on a streaming service.
Are you up to date with the show?
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm not up to date, but I decided to just YouTube the final episode or whatever. Is that the one with spoiler, I guess, Bizarro? They fight Bizarro?
Nah, bro. But the last season went
you see a proper Doomsday or something.
I didn't know if you knew, but
they
they do a Doomsday storyline, and we've had 2 Doomsdays on TV already. This
Smallville.
and Smallville. I would say that this one was done well. The last fight scene on the moon was actually, with their budget, was done well.
That's dope. I should catch up already. I'll watch it soon. Moving on to topic number 4. We have the Penguin show in HBO Max, or Max, is delayed. So we have here via Deadline, HBO and Max content CEO Casey Bloys isn't buying the notion that audiences have tired of major comic book tentpoles, despite recent signs of a drop-off at the movie box office and some streaming outlets. I don't know that it's necessarily tentpole fatigue as much as it is a sameness of storytelling, he said during a 2024 programming showcase in New York. So one of the shows in that programming showcase that was shown was Penguin. So officially confirming that the Penguin has been moved to 2024. So where I want to jump from here is, what are our expectations for this show? You know, because like where I'm seeing this is I really loved what Matt Reeves established in the Batman. It's a world that I really do want to revisit.
Yeah.
You know, see the different sides of Gotham. So I'm really for this Penguin show. It could have, and from my understanding, it's gonna have like a mafia vibe to it.
Yeah.
The rise of Penguin.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I'm all for this, especially that it takes place like shortly after the Batman. So
Yeah.
I hope it really leads the connection from the Batman to the Penguin, and then you pass it off to the Batman Part Two is cool. Um, but my only concern here is I'm very torn with do we continue to expand this Matt Reeves verse when we're about to usher in the DCU Batman? How does that play out? You know, we've never seen this happen where you have the same actor play the same role, right? In comic books. I'm pretty sure we've never seen it. So to see it play out, I just don't know how they're gonna juggle it. I'm very worried that there's gonna be comparisons and like, oh, I prefer this Bruce, this Batman. Um, so I'm very cautiously optimistic with them juggling the two Batmans. You know, but aside from that, I'm also excited. You know, I'm very hopeful that I hope this does well, the Penguin, because there have been so many properties that have been rumored. You know, there's been a rumored Arkham show around
Yeah.
the Matt Reeves universe. I think there was like I think there was a Clayface even, or he might just be the rumored for the movie. But very exciting to see that this is how they plan to expand the universe through
Yeah.
the Max shows. You know, and I hope that by having these Max shows, they get to the Batman, the movies is kind of like supercharged already with all
Yeah.
these shows. So Yumix, like, what are your thoughts on the Penguin being delayed, and like, does the Penguin show make sense for you?
I mean, wait, the delay is because of the strike,
yeah,
right? So I mean, I think really we should be expecting more of these announced shows to be moved, right? Unfortunately, so how I feel about the delay, it's like I've already made peace, basically.
yeah,
But with regards to the Penguin show itself, I think, with the Batman, Matt Reeves did a really good job at making these, very meaty characters that we would all want to, see moving forward. I think he also sort of did a good job at making Gotham like sort of like a character of the show.
oh yeah, yeah.
So
Best Gotham I've
so
seen.
expanding it in this
One of
way is to be expected, and I kind of welcome it. But also, the Batman being an Elseworlds from the DCU sort of makes it easier for them to tell these spin-offs because, it will help their streaming service, and at the same time, it's not really like tied down by the cinematic universe. They sort of have freedom. Now, I just hope that they tell the story of the Penguin that's sort of like outside of the Batman
Yeah,
storyline, because I would love to just kind of see it, see a story of the Penguin and just keep it self-contained, because we need to start going back to the old ways of like telling these standalone stories.
yeah.
And with the success of previous comic book movies like the Joker and stuff, you can see that the audience is sort of starting to crave for these standalones.
I agree.
Now, my only fear for the Penguin is I think I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna compare it to Gotham. Right? We're not gonna see Batman. It's
You
just
think
gonna be
so?
based on the villain.
Oh,
I mean, we'll probably
man,
see.
I'm
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Bruce. I just don't think
Yeah, fine.
we're going.
Bruce,
I
yeah.
just don't think we're going to see Batman.
Yeah, Bruce
And
makes
so
sense.
my question is, can a Batman show without Batman do well?
yeah.
Right? Because we haven't seen that yet. Gotham was just okay.
Crazy star power, though. I mean, it's a show led by Colin Farrell, right?
Yeah,
So-
and Matt Reeves being behind it
Yes, and
gives
that, most
gives me
importantly.
hope.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely excited, and it's not even cautiously excited. I'm excited.
Yeah. So yeah, very exciting. Yeah, I just wanted to add that in the case of Batman or Bruce, I really think we're gonna see him. I think that's the thing that's gonna make that. I think that's gonna be that hook to make everyone really watch it. Like, yo, you're gonna see Robert Pattinson in a show. His Batman in a show. I think that's gonna be such a strong hook to get more viewers.
Yeah.
But yeah, even without that, it's such huge star power. Colin Farrell was so good for the role. He's such a great actor.
Yeah.
Have you seen random? But have you seen that movie of his? He was nominated last year, The Banshees of
No,
Inisherin.
it's on my list.
It's great.
on my list.
It's great.
Because,
It's great,
honestly,
dude.
I had a completely different expectation of the movie. I thought it was going to be, serious, drama, dragging. So I put it below on my list.
It goes all over the place. There's comedy,
Yeah.
it gets really drama, and there's just like an unexpected turn.
Yeah.
At some point in the movie.
He was
Definitely
nominated for that, right?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah.
Great movie. A lot of talking though, but like it's
Oh,
those
yeah.
talking that you're kind of like captivated by.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely recommend that one. And last for our topic of the week, we have a confirmation via press release from Disney Plus. What if season 2 release date confirmed for when is it coming out? I forgot to. What if season 2 release date? I think it's been confirmed for this year, for this December. For this December. With this coming out December, very excited for it. I really, really enjoyed What If Season 1. I'm for MCU exploring more animated shows or movies, especially in the world we're living in, wherein Into the Spider-Verse just broke all barriers
Yeah.
in what you in the form and what story you could tell through animation. So I think Marvel Studios should really keep investing in animated series, movies, shorts. But more than that, even I'm very curious to see how they use this What If, or if they use What If season 2 to build hype for whatever the multiverse story we're having towards Secret Wars, right? Because in What If season 1, so many people were expecting that Supreme Strange, the villain of What If season 1, he was gonna show up in Doctor Strange 2, and like that would have been great. But
we got the
that
zombie,
didn't
right?
happen. We got
the zombie Doctor Strange.
we got a zombie Doctor Strange, but not,
It's not-
the Doctor Strange, zombie Doctor Strange from What If season 1,
Yeah.
right? With the Captain America, Captain Carter.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's the same one even. I think it's a Captain Carter, but not the Captain Carter from What If season 1. That I'm not sure. You guys could correct me if you guys are, if you guys know. But yeah, my point here is that I really hope that they use season 2 or the What If show as a platform to build hype for Secret Wars. So you, Meeks, what are your thoughts?
Are they incorporating the What If storylines into the MCU? Because I always felt like they were more outside. I think you're right. I mean, the Captain Carter in What If is definitely not the one that showed up in Multiverse of Madness. I mean, she died, right? So
Yeah.
definitely it's not gonna be
That's
that.
true,
But
yeah.
I think that Marvel, they could continue to tell these stories that's in a different, universe. But I think that they should keep it sort of away from the MCU, because I honestly believe that not everyone will be open to watching animation.
Yeah.
So I think standalone stories will be good. And season 1 was actually done really well. I thought the animation was good, production value was pretty high. But, and this is, me being a DC fan, I still feel like when it comes to animation, DC still sort of stands
Easily.
above the rest. Yeah.
Agree. I agree. So yeah, I'm overall looking forward to What If season 2 this December 2023. So yeah, that about wraps up our.
No, we have our trailers, right?
Yeah, that wraps up our 5 headlines. So moving on, we have some rumors. So we're gonna separate our rumors segment. We have 2 rumors that have been circulating around the interwebs the previous week. So we have a rumor regarding the DCU Brave and the Bold. So it's been rumored that the writer for DCU The Brave and the Bold is, what is his name? He is the writer for Gladiator, The Aviator, Hugo, I don't know Hugo, and Skyfall. So this is a three-time Oscar nominee, John Logan. So again, this is just a rumor, but man, if it's true, crazy history he has. The movies he's done, particularly Gladiator. Huge fan of Gladiator. Just watched it recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't really have much with uh, news on Brave and the Bold. Only thing we know so far is that it's directed by
Andy
Andy
Muschietti.
Muschietti, right? So, yeah, with you, Meeks, like, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean,
this rumor.
Yeah, I mean, if he is the writer, his filmography sounds impressive. So, it's definitely makes me feel hopeful. But, honestly, with James Gunn being co-CEO and with the confirmed announcements that he's made, it really does feel like he's trying to get these formidable, storytellers, whether it's a director or the writers. So I hope it really does seem like he's handpicking these storytellers. So hopefully we get some good DC quality.
Yep, I agree. But yeah, like for me, cool if this guy's the writer for Brave and the Bold, but I'm really like meh on Andy being the director. He was great in it. It part two was a miss. Flash was okay, so he's kind of just like in the middle for me.
But
You
okay,
know?
I mean, I agree that okay, his filmography might not be super, consistent. But even with the Flash, like, what are your issues? It's the story, right?
Yeah,
So it's not the directing.
that's true.
In terms of the directing, he is on point,
Yeah.
Even if you watch the It movies, he knows where to place the cameras, the shots look great. He is able to get performances out of his actors. So
Ezra
I
performed
think
really well in the
yeah.
Flash.
So I think as a director, he'll get the job done. You just need to make sure that
True,
the
that's
writer
true.
that he has on his team is
Yeah.
top tier.
Yep. So, the last rumor that's been going around the rounds, that's been going around. So last week we talked about how Marvel had plans to bring back the OG Avengers for a movie, which we would assume really was Secret Wars. So it's not really a surprise,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But supposedly, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans have both signed on. So honestly, I can't really buy that rumor.
No.
Especially like I don't think there's even a script ready.
No.
But again, I have no doubt that they will return. They will, 100% they will return in some form or capacity. Either a variant or really them, they will return.
I think that it was Kevin Feige was asked recently. I
In
don't
an
know.
interview.
Yeah, in an
In
interview.
the premiere of the Marvels.
And he debunked it himself.
Yeah.
But what's interesting was that what he said was
We'll see.
there have been no talks
Yeah.
of bringing them back, but we'll see. So, I mean, we've already gone through like what Andrew Garfield did to us,
Yeah.
and Marvel does these, they do like remember when they removed Hulk or they included Hulk in the Infinity War trailer, but really he
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
there. Marvel does these curveball things, so
Yeah.
the we'll see. It's definitely something that they're talking about behind closed doors,
There's-
but definitely the two have not signed on. It just doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
That's it. There's no script. There's nothing.
Yeah.
But no doubt they'll appear. And then for our last segment, we have new trailers. So whenever there's like new trailers coming out for the week, we'll discuss the ones that really piqued our interest.
Yeah.
So starting off, we had the first trailer for Marvel's Echo. So with this, I gotta say, man, I was not wanting this show. I was like, why, God? Why? Like, when I watched Hawkeye, the last thing that went to my mind was, I want more of her.
Yeah.
You know, zero. And as I learned more about the show, there were rewrites, new drama, whatever. I'm like, oh, of course, this show's gonna flop or whatever. But man, when that trailer dropped, it really brought my hype levels from like 0 to like an 8.
Yeah.
Crazy. It was just done so well with the whole Fisk and him punching.
Yeah.
And then that just the sound of the punch just kept going on throughout the entire trailer. I was completely sold on the tone. Again, this like R-rated vibe that they're having, this new shift of Marvel, telling more grounded stories. I'm all in for it. I love also how they didn't use a Daredevil hook. At the end of the trailer, you'd see like Daredevil coming in or Matt Murdock to
You
get
do
more
see him in
you
the
see
trailer,
him like
though.
for a split second in the middle of the
Yeah,
trailer,
yeah.
but not your hook at the end. So like that to me really shows that we're not using Daredevil as a hook to get people to watch. They seem very confident in what they have here, and I'm all in for it.
Okay. So Daredevil is definitely not the hook, right? But do you think that the hook was the Kingpin?
Yes.
See?
Yes.
Because I felt the same way.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the trailer because of Fisk.
Yeah.
And like I feel like if you look at the trailer, doesn't it seem like they're sort of like bouncing off of the Netflix Daredevil show?
Kind of. Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like I hope to God that what we saw in the trailer, I hope they didn't show us. Okay, I hope they didn't show us all the Fisk stuff that they have. I
Yeah.
hope that he's really there. I hope
Yeah.
that it's not like a click and like a bait and switch again from Marvel. Because if that's really their direction, then what I saw in the trailer looks very, very promising. But my feeling lang is right now I'm more there for Wilson Fisk than the Echo character. But
Same.
maybe after the show I'll be a fan of Echo. We'll see.
Same. Now that you mention it, like Fisk was a huge part. Like
Yeah.
90% of what I loved about
Yeah.
the trailer.
Yeah.
Such perfect casting,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Great
And he seemed like he's
casting.
bigger in this one, right?
Yeah, they gave him that oversized
Yeah.
look.
Yeah.
Looks really great. Again, looks great in that white
Yeah,
suit.
man. It would have been a mistake to recast that role.
Yeah, for sure, dude. He was just
Would have
done
been a mistake.
perfectly on
Yeah.
Netflix, man.
Yeah.
So intimidating, his voice and all that.
Yeah. And I'm glad that he's out of the Hawaiian shirt.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Right? Oh my god! That's so annoying in Hawkeye, man.
Yeah.
Why did
See,
they
that's
do
the thing
that?
with Marvel. They
Oh my
gotta
God.
stop watering down these
Oh
characters.
damn! You made me remember that one. Damn! I remember like shaking my head. I'm like, why do you look like this?
Yeah.
Damn. So yeah, next up, this is the next trailer we have something you're particularly excited for. Kingdom of the Pota or Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
So this is the 4th movie in the Planet of the Apes franchise. So how do you find the trailer?
I really liked it. I just did a rewatch of the original trilogy, and 2 of the 3 are solid.
Yeah.
2, I forget the order. It's like Dawn and Rise. I think Dawn
Rise
was
is the last. Dawn is second.
Yeah. So Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was top tier.
Wait, what's the first one then?
Rise.
What's the last one then?
War.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, Matt Reeves directing that second one was perfect. Andy Serkis as Caesar, great. And so, I mean, even though the third sort of stumbled a little, I'm still very excited that we're getting another installment of that universe, So, I remember before they said that it would be Caesar's son that we would follow, but I think they said something that the movie will take place, like years into the future.
Yes, it is not Caesar.
Yeah, and so
it is Caesar's a young chimpanzee born generations after Caesar's time.
So I hope we're gonna get to know a new protagonist. Hopefully, we can connect the way we did with Caesar. But based on the trailer, like we're definitely getting closer to that Planet of the Apes vibe, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah, my only concern with this movie is Andy Serkis is not in it.
Yeah, and Matt Reeves isn't connected
Yeah,
anymore.
so it's like a lot of the pieces that made that trilogy perfect, they're not there.
Yeah.
But the trilogy in it was great, so like I'm still like optimistic.
Yeah,
But
they have a blueprint.
yeah, they have a
right?
blueprint. There you
Yeah.
go. But I'm still like partially not expecting, like more of. I would not be surprised if I don't enjoy this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but hopeful. CGI looked cool
Yeah,
and
CGI looked
yeah,
amazing.
great. You know, and dude, seeing
I
monkeys
liked it
go
when
at it.
the
The
hawk
eagle,
or
yeah,
eagle
yeah, yeah.
went on the.
Yeah, when I saw that, like that's a cool visual.
Yeah.
I'm for that.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So yeah, lastly, there's a trailer here. We have Shogun.
Hmm.
So this one for me, my selling point here, Hiroyuki Sanada, man.
Yeah.
Whenever this guy is in the movie, I'm like, okay, this guy's bound to be fun. It's got to be entertaining. He's your go-to Japanese.
Yeah,
actor in
it's
Hollywood,
Hollywood's
man.
Japanese guy,
You know,
man.
He was Scorpion, dope. He was in Last Samurai, dope. He was in John Wick,
Yeah.
dope.
And he was also in Bullet Train, right?
Yes, he was in Bullet Train. He was
Yeah.
also dope there.
Yeah.
So yeah, Yumi, it's like you were the one that actually showed me this trailer. I actually was not aware of it until
He
you
was
sent it.
also in Army of the Dead.
Yeah, he was.
Right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was. He was.
I'm very particular when it comes to period pieces, but for some reason, I always have a soft spot for the samurai storylines. So when I saw the trailer for this, and I saw Hiroyuki,
Yeah.
I got very excited. And the trailer itself looked amazing. Production value looks very high. So, and it being on Hulu and FX, like lately, those two brands have been releasing content. I mean, The Bear's on FX,
Yeah.
right? So I'm very hopeful. I feel like it's very similar to The Last Samurai in terms of plot. But we'll see. I mean, I heard that the 1980s show was well received. I heard that there's a lot of fans of the book.
Yeah.
So,
heard that too.
so now that we're getting a retelling with modern technology and all of the advancements, hopefully we get something, for the new audiences.
Yeah. My only hope here is that it's not overly like an English language. I mean, I'd want this to be dominantly Japanese.
But what if they-
I get annoyed whenever I see movies like a huge Japanese cast and then y'all are just
They're
talking English.
But what if they do it like, you remember Tom Cruise's Valkyrie?
Yeah, that Valkyrie
where
like,
he starts off speaking German
Yeah,
and then
and
you're meant to
goes to
believe that we're
English.
sort of just,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
fine. But like I would prefer hearing because like there's a way when Japanese people talk, like when they yell, there's so much
yeah.
rage and like. Ugh.
But damn, subtitles?
I get you. Well, I'm team sub. I've always you've always been annoyed. with
Only now
subtitles.
it's like become a habit. I can't seem to shake it anymore, but
Welcome to the club, man.
freaking hate it,
Yep.
man.
So yeah, guys. So that about wraps up our Screencast Weekly. That was fun. Excited for all these news to like come to fruition. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed our video or episode, we would appreciate a follow in our channels here on YouTube at Tayo Pop, and then on Instagram and TikTok, it's at studio.tayo. You can follow my personal Instagram or TikTok, that's at Maki Tung, and Miko's is.
My Instagram is miko.tung, and if you guys have any comments, suggestions, or topics that you'd like for us to touch on, please leave it in the comment section.
Yep, and we'll see you again on Wednesday as me and Miko break down our thoughts on the Marvels. So until then, we'll see you guys again next time.